Hello, I'm Anirudh, and I lead fine-tuning product here at Together. And today I'm going to be walking you through the new fine-tuning UI. So previously you were able to launch fine-tuning jobs via the API or CLI, but we've recently added a new UI to make it easier and faster to launch jobs, fine-tuning jobs, as well as then take the fine-tuning models and launch them via dedicated endpoint, LoRa serverless. I'll be walking you through that flow today. So we've added it here as we have this fine-tuning tab now, and you can see previous running jobs. And what you can now do is click new fine tuning job to launch a new fine tuning job. So over here, you can then choose which model you'd like to select. So for example, if we look at the Llama 3 8B reference model, you can choose a model to fine tune from. You can choose either to upload a new file or to select a previously uploaded file. So in this case, I'm just going to choose a dataset I'd uploaded previously, and I'm not going to upload a validation file this time. And then what you can do then is configure the job and all the parameters of the fine-tuning job as you wish via the UI. So let's call this fine-tuning demo. I can choose my training type, whether I want to do full fine-tuning or LoRa fine-tuning. The parameters will obviously change as a result of that, so I'm going to keep the default LoRa parameters for now. You can choose your training method, whether that's supervised fine-tuning or direct preference optimization, so preference fine-tuning. So in this case, let's keep it a supervised fine-tuning. You can change your batch size, your weight decay, the learning scheduler, as well as the learning rate. And even input a weights and biases project an API key if you have one, if you'd like to track your job in a more granular manner. So you can basically edit all the traditional parameters of the fine-tuning job as you normally would be able to, but now via the UI. So for the sake of speed for the demo, I'm going to choose a smaller model. It only has LoRa available, so there's no choice to choose any type of training type. And I'm just going to create a job. Then you can finally validate that all the parameters in the job look correct, right? That all your fine-tuning job configuration is correct, that you've done the correct data set, that the suffix looks correct. And if all this looks good, I can then start my job. So I can see my job is starting to be kicked off and be queued. And now if I look at that, yep, I can see that my job's queued, and I can track all my events here. So I can see that I've created a fine-tuning request. Now if I go back, I can see my previous jobs, and then I can see that, hey, this job is sitting in the queue. I can now see that my job is running. And so if I go to my events, you can see that it's downloaded the model, it's downloaded the data, and it's beginning to actually run the job. This should be a pretty quick one since I selected basically the quickest job possible. I can now see that my job is uploading and that the training has been complete at one epoch. So that means, the job's done, and now it's just uploading the model for use for either LoRa serverless or for a dedicated endpoint, which I'll show briefly. I can now see that my job is completed and my model is fully fine-tuned. So again, if I go to all the events, you can see that it uploaded the model and the job is finished. I can see my price, I can see the runtime, and now I can see my checkpoints where I'm able to download these as well. Now, if I go back to my fine-tuning, you can see that I can see all my completed jobs here. And now I can either continue the job, which means I can do continued fine-tuning, so I could take this checkpoint and continue training on some new data. Or if I go back, I can go here and I can actually start to play with this model. Since this is a LoRa model, we can actually do it it's one of the LoRa serverless supported, so I can actually use it in a serverless fashion, so I can actually start playing with it right away. So let's say, tell me about San Francisco. And you can see that now I'm able to actually play with a fine-tuned model, and this is the model that I've just fine-tuned. Now, if I go back, I can also deploy this via a dedicated endpoint. So I can click deploy on dedicated. I can choose, let's shut down in 15 minutes, and then I can actually deploy this as a dedicated endpoint as a private model using, a single H100. Now, for the sake of expediency, I already created one of these that's up and running. You can see this one starting. And so I can actually go and I can actually, again, similar to this, except this is not dedicated endpoint in serverless. I can say, tell me about San Francisco. And again, you can see this is done. So that's fine tuning and the new UI. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.